darling.
It's so nice of you to invite me to such a stylish place. Sweetie cakes.
Help yourself.
Yeah, surely. You know, now I'm making a project and I would like to ask you just several questions, okay?
Sure, what's your topic?
Well, I'm studying people's cinema preferences and just a second. The first question...
Just a moment. I'd like to get you into the picture of my research.
Okay, what is your topic?
Well, I'm studying a very controversial issue. What a girl needs to be happy.
What do you repose on?
Well, to be objective, I decided to study not only Russian girls, but foreign girls as well. So, my favorite films are the source of information.
Okay, could you set an example?
For instance, Some Like It Hot, starring Marilyn Monroe. The musical comedy directed by Billy Wilder tells us about the adventures of two musicians who have to go into hiding from gangsters chasing them. In order to be safe, they join an all-female jazz band disguised as women and calling themselves Josephine and Daphne. Key actress Marilyn Monroe plays the role of a naive heroine Sugar by name who strives for a marriage with a millionaire. To look quite presentable, she slips on a white fur mantle which shows off her platinum blonde hair. Unhappily, she falls in love with the wrong guy, but becomes a role model, and even Japanese women dye their hair to be blondes. Some Like It Hot has been acclaimed worldwide as one of the greatest films ever made.
Well, Natalie, and do you want to be a blonde?
Oh no, can you imagine me as a blonde? It's not my cup of tea. By the way, have you watched Pretty Woman?
No, I haven't.
Really? It's such a gripping piece of filmmaking. Asking for directions, a successful businessman, Edward Lewis, meets kind-hearted Vivian, who works as a prostitute. Both of them seem to have nothing to do with each other, but they stay together for a week, and after which they couldn't part. Happily, public disgrace didn't interfere with their love. Although the plot unfolds rather predictably, the viewer is charmed by the smile of Julia Roberts and Hollywood sex symbol Richard Gere. Just imagine, Pretty Woman was initially conceived to be a dark drama about prostitution, but luckily, Gary Marshall directed a romantic comedy that considered by many critics to be the most successful movie in the genre.
Well, according to your words, any girl has to meet Richard Gere to make the most of her life.
No, you haven't caught me. The point here is marriage. Wedding is the most unforgettable day in any woman's life. That is why such a great number of films have been shot on this topic. Emma and Olivia, starring Anne Hathaway and Kate Hudson, are best friends who have planned every detail of their wedding since first witnessing a wedding 20 years ago at the Plaza Hotel. Therefore, they both have made it a lifetime priority to be married in the same location in June. Everything would be perfect, but due to an error, they are scheduled to have a wedding on the same day. At first, girls tried to come to terms peacefully. Then cute antics followed, but as a result, a real war took place as they started to poison the life of each other. They went mad on persuading each other to advance the date of the wedding. Up to the very end, it is unclear who of them will give in. Basically, in this picture, the problem of women's friendship is raised, the problem that has never been a question for me. And one more captivating film like that is Sex and the City. A feature film based on a romantic sitcom, Sex and the City, written, produced and directed by Michael Patrick King, was released in 2008. The four women who have been appealing so much to the audience for years, this time made a hit with the public as well. The plot revolves around the fates of the heroines, but in the center of attention is Carrie Bradshaw, whose wedding fell to the ground as the bride took a great interest in the entourage and completely forgot about her groom. Frankly speaking, the dresses she tried on make not only Hollywood stars' heads swim. As for me, I fully agree with what Carrie says.
Life doesn't always turn out to be your fantasy. That's why you need friendships that are real to get you through it all.
Well, Natalie, I'm really not into comedies.
Oh no, listen please. I know a perfect film that will definitely put a broad smile on your face. That is Bridget Jones' Diary. Bridget Jones is a girl who desperately wants to find her partner in life, but she uses her clothes so labbily and mistakenly that she constantly gets into extremely ridiculous situations. However, that doesn't deprive her of charm. Renée Zellweger, starring in a role, created a true-to-life image personifying an ordinary woman. As for me, her sincerity and absence of fear to be funny in the eyes of others are the key to success. And even a wetted sundress doesn't prevent Mr. Darcy from making a marriage proposal to her. Thank you, Bridget, for reminding us that staying yourself is of the main priority.
Well, Natalie, judging by the films you've mentioned, you mean that sumptuous clothes and jewelry really make girls' life happy?
No, you haven't caught me. You'd better listen to me till the end. One more romantic comedy starring Renée Zellweger is called New in Town, where she encounters harsh realities of life. The comedy presents us a woman who gets in the new conditions that are absolutely unusual for her. Renée Zellweger plays the role of an arrogant and cynical to some degree businesswoman who has to dress up in a downcoat and lead a plant which she was supposed to close. In a remote place with limited creature comforts, with the absence of the sun but the presence of snow, she finds responsive, kind-hearted people who become a family for her. What makes me related to the heroine in this movie is my own downcoat and 6 winter months in the Urals. By the way, my personal respect to Renée's new slender figure.
No, Natalie, I really have a need to...
Just a second, one more film. One more Hollywood film that is life-affirming. And it is from the series, Golden Series of Hollywood. Legally Blonde by name. The title role is played by Reese Witherspoon, who gives a magnificent performance as a sorority girl who struggles to win back her ex-boyfriend, earning a law degree. Be sure this blonde will succeed in making a brilliant career, as her trump card is charm and fascination. She bore with dignity all the mockeries with which she was met and proved her seriousness and competence. As the greatest Russian poet Pushkin said, it's possible to be intelligent and think about the beauty of your nails.
So what you mean telling me about this picture, the point of whole life is career?
No, it's not career. Sometimes it can be just a fortunately bought green scarf, like in that film, Shopaholic. Everything she wanted was a small credit is the slogan of a 2009 romantic comedy. Isla Fisher starred in a role in a delightful and amusing movie Confessions of a Shopaholic. She portrayed a character of a young girl, Rebecca Bloomwood by name, who forgot herself in buying clothes so that she began to talk with the mannequin. Happily, Rebecca overcame herself, parted with her favorite green scarf, thus became free from the passion to buy up everything in her path. Good girl, in any case, a person mustn't be a slave to fashion.
Natalie, but buying a green scarf doesn't necessarily mean that you will make it far up the hierarchical ladder. It's a fairy tale.
Well, you might be right to some degree. Let me think. Recently I watched that film that is called Devil Wears Prada, where the heroine climbs up that ladder and succeeds in life. In our life, we always have to choose, and sometimes it can be a choice of vital importance, like between a career and family life. That is what the heroine of Anne Hathaway encounters. Andy is an aspiring journalist fresh out of Northwestern University. Despite ridiculing the shallowness of the fashion industry, she lands the job a million girls would kill for, junior personal assistant to Miranda Priestley, the icy editor-in-chief of Runway Fashion magazine. Andy puts up with Miranda's bizarre and humiliating treatment in hopes of getting a job as a reporter or writer somewhere else. To fit the situation, Andy asks the art director Nigel to teach her to dress more stylishly. As she spends increasing amount of time at Miranda's beck and call, problems arise in her relationship with her boyfriend and friends. Eager to know the end? Then watch it.
I'm really tired and I want to go home.
No, wait a bit. Look what I have.
And?
The film Cinderella. Have you watched it?
Yes, it's the film of my childhood.
Cinderella is a 1947 Soviet musical film by Len Film Studios. The classical story about Cinderella, her evil stepmother and a prince, was directed by Nadezhda Kashvarova and Mikhail Shapiro. The fact that the film won universal acclaim is undeniable, as more than 18 million people watched it in 1947. Originally shot in black and white, this movie was colored in 2009. Basically, one of the secrets of the movie is that the actors were cast to advantage. The play of inimitable Farina Ranevskaya leaves nobody cold, and suffice it to say that the actors starting the roles of Cinderella and Prince were 37 and 34 years old. To my mind, this piece of art is not only for children, but for adults as well. I'm convinced that there's always a place for a fairy tale in our life.
Well, Natalie, I see that you have watched such a great number of terrific films, but what is the keynote of all of them?
And it's love. All girls in the world need love only.
Okay, I should have guessed it much earlier, as you are such a romantic person. But what about my project?